brother. 1 second.
Hey, what's good, bruh?
Yo, what's up? You can hear me?
I hear you perfectly fine. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute, man. How's it going, bro?
I'm great. I'm good. Can't complain. Always good.
Man, it's always a pleasure to see you. Seriously, it's always a pleasure, you know what I'm saying, to see you, to know you're doing well, you know what I'm saying, to chop it up with you, bro. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long, long, long time now.
Likewise, brother. Likewise. Thank you, man. Good to see you too and all of that.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So, I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to waste your time. I want to kind of get started. With the lives, they usually sometimes cut off after an hour. So just to let you know, I don't want this to go over an hour. Even if we had this somewhere within the sweet spot of like 35 to like 40, 50 minutes max, if that I want to keep it in that sweet spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Cool, 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 cool. Yo, 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 what up, Mark? What up, bro? All right, man. So let's get started. I'm going to do the whole Wise Guys introduction because this is going to be also, it's going to be audio converted and formatted for the audio podcast sometime, I think, in November or December. So we're doing it live now. And, the main point is to just have good audio for the audio format. All right. So let's get right into it. Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We're back. We're back. We're back with the Wise Guys podcast. Season 4, as y'all know, is coming to an end. So, I've been lining up the Wise Guys podcast this entire season with an array of guests, bringing back old guests and as well as, introducing new guests to the platform. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest. We had him on the first season on episode 22. Is it because I'm black? And it's been so hard to get him back onto the podcast. But, 2 years later, we finally got him back on. Man, this guy was like a locked character in like Tekken 4 or something like that. It was just so hard to kind of like, get him out. But I'm glad that we did. I'm glad he's here. So without any further introduction, please welcome back my boy Dre. Dre, what up? Welcome back onto the Wise Guys, man.
Yo, Kev, what's good, bro? Thank you for having me, man. You know the vibes.
Likewise, man. I'm so happy to have you back on, man. Yeah, man, it's been dang near almost 2 years since we had you on the show, and again, we're happy to have you back on. So I really wanted to talk to you about something that I thought would be really, really interesting, and something that I think we both, as brothers, who grew up in the hood, could relate to. So today's episode, Wise Community, is called "Product of My Environment." All right. It's called Product of My Environment. So, Dre, check this out. I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind as of late. It's definitely the main central focus of my research in terms of what I'm doing here in grad school down in Philly. And I kind of wanted to bounce some ideas off of to someone such as yourself, who I consider to be a remarkable scholar, as well as someone who's super intelligent, and very well tapped in and tuned in with like what's happening, and as well as what has occurred, to the community over time. So, what do you think about this topic, right? So, again, the name of the episode is called "Product of My Environment." What do you think about this idea? I came across this somewhere on the internet, but what do you think about this idea of, as people of color within impoverished communities? What do you think about this idea of our passions being sold to us? And so when I say our passions, I mean, us, wanting to be athletes, right? Wanting to be, musicians in a sense and stuff like that. What do you think about that idea of our passions being sold to us? Is that true? Are passions sold to us when you think of, how we grew up in the black community, or do you think it's just something that we naturally gravitate towards? What are your thoughts?
Uh, Good question. And I didn't want to cut you off at no point because you were speaking so eloquently, but thank you for like your compliments and remarks at the beginning of, your whole little uh solo just now. But
I
so
appreciate you.
yeah, thank you first of all. But like I think it's like it's a mixture of, I mean, yeah, marketing is marketing, right? And like the only way I mean, if you could sell somebody a product, then eventually they might aspire to want to duplicate that same level of success. Speaking about, like the idea of wanting to be an athlete, wanting to be a musician, an artist, or something like that. But at the same time, as a former educator and knowing how the like system operates in a lot of different ways,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why other dreams that are sold to us that might be less appealing, such as just getting any type of good job like lawyer, doctor, those are like the two cliches you always hear, or anything else where you could like make a good living for yourself without having to take this less traditional route, entertainer, anything like that. And so the same way the idea of education, because I mean, you see way more commercials for colleges and stuff like that than you see for, I mean, even though they're like creative schools, but you see way more just commercials for regular colleges than you see, I don't know, like music videos and all that. That's business and stuff. So um, I think people coming from urban environments that aspire to be artists and to be athletes and entertainers and to like get rich, not having to necessarily work for somebody else or work for the system. I actually I admire that, but and I think, yeah, I think it is cultural, and it does kind of reflect being a product of your environment, but
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily in a bad way. And in in the most grassroots sense of it, it's us selling the image to ourselves. I mean, because but aside from the people controlling the industry, like at the powers that be, whoever they are, what it really is like other successful people who look like us showing us a way that we could also see our dreams coming true. And so if that's something that makes other young kids want to do the same thing, then okay, yeah, it's a product of the environment. And the environment now is digital in a lot of ways. So you have people, the environment is not necessarily the area you grew up in. It's what you're exposed to online through social media, through the different conversations you're hearing from podcasts, what I mean, from the group chats that you're in with your friends and whoever else you interact with. What I mean, the environment is the airwaves. What I'm saying? It's everything else. It's not just, the block you grow up or the main areas that what I mean, go to on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I agree with you. First and foremost, I agree with everything you said there. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you about this topic, and I've been pressing to have this engaging dialogue with you, over the past couple of months, is because I knew that you would give me a very humanized and very sensible, down to earth, up close and personal understanding of this matter. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think oftentimes we may get too technical or too theoretical with like, oh, well, like the black people or the community and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And what gets lost is the humanized, emotional aspect of, having lived experiences as to why these things occur to us, right? And the reason why I bring this up to you is because, again, I'm currently, studying black masculinity and the commodities of or how black people are utilized as commodities in these entertainment industries. And one thing I'm hoping to explore is how capitalism and how, the white power structure in itself, utilizes the forms or the mediums of sports, music, and stuff like that to kind of regulate us and keep us in our place in a sense. And what I mean by that is, you think about like these basketball team executive, like basketball, football, athletic programs, the executives, and let's say like a player wants to now go to HBCUs, right? And he don't want to go play for Duke or Harvard or Stanford or UConn or any more of these you know, PWI institutions. And then they're like, well, who does, you know what I'm saying, who does Jaquan or who does Thurman think he is, you know what I'm saying, going to a HBCU? Like he's like if he's looking for, you know, prime time, you know, visibility, prime time coverage on ESPN, Fox Sports networks, all these reputable networks. He's going to HBCU while we have all the money, we have the surplus of cash, we have all these endowments. Like he's never going to make it. Good luck to him, whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They're getting on Rich Paul. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's agent for like, you know, having a collective of black players who want to be under his agency because they love the work and the integrity that he's doing, right? So I say all these things because it almost seems as if sometimes capitalism, due to its power, is afforded the luxury of the vehicle to maintain that form of privilege and status quo as like, this is how we want y'all to operate under our time, and you cannot change that within the confines of the prism in which we've created and provided for you. I don't know if that was a bit convoluted or if I was like, you know, a little bit too complex with that. If you need me to simplify that, let me know. But I know you pretty much got what I'm trying to say though. So
Yeah, just remind me what your question was about all that.
so
Like,
my question is to you. I don't even think I stated the question. I was more so like giving a comment. My bad. So my question to you, brother, is that do you think that through the reinforcing of the media, the stereotypical media images that we see now of like black music or black culture, you know, whether it's through gun violence or whether it's through basketball and things that are constantly being fed to us, do you think that that is just a form of capitalism intentionally making sure that they keep us in bondage and under control in a sense and kind of like limited in terms of what we see and what we can potentially like imagine for ourselves in terms of the future and what we could do?
I mean, yeah, like the I mean, certain shit is popular because it's hot. I mean, right? Like even people who don't live nothing close to the lifestyle of what some of this music is talking about and promoting, we still streaming it, watching it, dancing to it. Now, I mean, probably not publicly. We probably don't got no gang of people that we be hanging with, walking with, doing none of that. But the music is hot. It got a certain energy to it. And so, I mean, the culture ultimately drives itself. That the industry can't really plant but so much shit if niggas ain't really feeling it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So like culturally shit is gonna pop. I mean, and then the streets, like, you know, the streets, they're their own market, you know what I mean? Because, and in a way it's sad because so many people are involved in the streets, but at the same time, because of that, it creates a network within itself that generates like a certain level of attention that outsiders then buy into. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And so,
Could you expound upon that a little bit? That's really good. I like that.
um, like take all the beef right now in Brooklyn and the Bronx with the New York drill shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Frankly, I'm not in the streets like that. Like, you know, I'm just not. Like, I don't I'm not in the fucking streets, right?
Right.
So I know people who are, and I might be around them sometimes and hear them talking about certain shit, but most of the time I'm either in my own world or, you know, that's like a side convo amidst other shit that's going on. And so when I do get the info or learn about a lot of this street shit that's really going on, aside from like the few things I hear talking to people I be around at times or whatever, it's like from, for one, the artists, you start seeing artists pop up on your YouTube. You got YouTube, right? You turn on your YouTube, excuse me, and it suggests some shit for you to watch. So you see it, you watch it, but then it'll be 2 music videos from the dude, but then 10 other videos explaining all the beef that they be in. And
Mm.
from watching those videos, you also learn about the fact that a lot of the dudes they beefing with is now rappers all of a sudden, and then they also got hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And so that's what I mean when I talk about the street shit, as pervasive as it is and detrimental. It creates a market within itself where all of the people involved, you know what I mean, generate enough transactions, enough market attention so that outsiders then want to buy in like Bitcoin and shit during COVID. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
all the investors got super rich, but you know what I mean, the people on the inside created enough attention for people on the outside to want to buy in.
No, that's really good. It's interesting you say that because, um, I prior to this year, I was working at a detention facility up in Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been living out in Connecticut for the past, 4 years up until this year, up until I moved to Philly now. And, we both obviously have an educator's background. I taught, middle school English language arts for about 3 years. And I remember one thing I noticed when I was transitioning out of teaching, like I noticed it in the classroom in terms of like the music that my kids were listening to. I noticed it like as I was transitioning out of teaching and I was going to work within the detention facility as a rehabilitative therapist. What I learned was that a lot of these kids, the music they tune into is all about the beats. It's all about, his beef with that person, this beef's retaliation because this person murked their mans and shit like that and whatnot. And I was just like, oh, like there's an extensive history that comes with all of this, And like street shit is like street shit, like all the way 100%. And one thing that got to me was that like the kids, my like that, that I had in my possession, I couldn't tell them, yo, like go listen to Cole, go listen to Kendrick, Shoot, like even in like this modern day era, go listen to well, he's not YBN anymore, but go listen to Corday, Focus on lyricism. They're not my kids are from the streets. They're not focused on lyricism. They're focused on what they've been through, which is gang violence, shootouts and shit like that, and niggas getting murked and popped, stolies and shit like that. And I was just like, oh wow, like I remember the first time I saw a video by like NBA YoungBoy, and probably on top of NBA YoungBoy, I don't know, I could name another person right now. 22 G's. There's a whole bunch of them, and I was like, oh my god! I'm like, they're allowing music videos and they're allowing guns in the music videos now, like explicitly. And I'm like, oh wait, like these niggas ain't really in the industry in a sense. But they kind of like, like they're social media popular, and Fulio, all those dudes, and I'm just like, wow, like this is some vile, cruel, violent shit. And I was just like, okay, this is a reflection of what they see, how they grew up, what they've been through. All my kids have had gun charges and shit like that, stolen cars on their records. I'm like, wow, this is truly a reflection of how they live. And then I have to say to myself, like, on top of this being their reality, is their reality reinforced by the music industry in itself? I mean, I know with the music industry, like once a Polo G becomes mainstream and he's signed to Capitol, whatnot, he can't be as explicit with his music videos in terms of having guns or whatnot. But I'm like, is this a trickle down effect from the music industry, or is this more? So here's the question: is this more a trickle down effect from capitalism and the poverty that it creates, or the music industry, or is it like a combination of multiple forces that's creating this situation or this pyramid that we find ourselves in? That's something I just wanted to know, because it makes me worry about the kids, man. It really does. And it's kind of scary to see how shit is going. So
I mean, I feel like gang shit started before hip hop was as big as it was.
that's a fact.
Before hip hop was as big as it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I hypothesize, right? I want to choose my words correctly. I hypothesize that it
Mm-hmm.
is all, yeah, right. Shavar, my nigga, was good. Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of what I'm trying to articulate. Like it's a lot of shit at play in the whole melting pot of what is drill music and the industry behind it. And one thought I had as you was explaining what you were saying just now, connected to what I said before, is that, you know, with the gang shit being what it is, and a label like even with GS9 and Bobby Shmurda and them, right?
Right.
That was gang shit, whatever. Like a lot of their music was about beef. Like they was rapping about, like literally saying, like a lot of the comedy that came out that time about rappers telling on themselves was based off of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they was literally like explaining through lyrics ways that they ran niggas down, shot them, stomped them out, did whatever they did, right? And that's just like a recent example, but that shit has honestly always kind of been a part of it. So when a label executive finds out about some shit, and it just so also happens to be entertaining and has a lot of following because a lot of people involved in the gang life, connected to it, not even related, but who've heard about it and who just found out because it somehow got traction and came across their YouTube, all increase the marketability of it. So when the label is like, yo, look, I got some money for you guys, but keep making this music because this is what people like. The smart ones continue to do that, and those become the rappers that get persecuted for not really being about that life. And then others who want to stay true to the culture continue to even perpetrate it, or, and this is something that I can't say because a lot of these deals that you hear about these rappers getting aren't that good. And so perhaps they still live in that life until they actually, you know, got a way to make some real money to change their situation.
That makes sense.
But at the root of it all, since we're talking about capitalism, you know, perpetuating all of it, I think it's complicated because if you would do really living that life, and whether you hustling, scamming, doing whatever you're doing, risking your safety and your freedom to make money, and you more or less get a legitimate opportunity to make that and more making music, which is something you might be even more passionate about than being a street nigga. You know, no matter who's offering you that money, most of the time it is going to be probably somebody who's white, Jewish, or something, not even really connected to the culture. But who can blame? Most of us are working for those people anyway. You know what I mean? For less money, and a less glamorous lifestyle.
Damn. So when you say that, go
So
ahead, go ahead. My bad.
who the fuck are we? So who the fuck are we as civilians, as niggas say, to criticize a gangster nigga for taking the opportunity to really live a gangster lifestyle?
So when you say that, when you say like us as civilians who are working within these structures too, like who the fuck are we to say? So are you talking about in general, or do you mean like any job specific to like the industry, like a publicist or an A&R, or you know what I'm saying, you know, things of that nature?
I mean A&R's A&R is one of those gray areas for me because, you know, some of them just be street dudes who work with the artists on some level, and then they get in the industry, and that's a way to legitimize what they do for the nigga.
Right.
Managers and all of that. So I don't know, but like publicists and journalists and all that, like, yeah, like they just, though they business people that more or less just phone calls, paperwork, meetings, you know what I mean, to make shit go, which is all part of it. But I mean, like, but nah, like, yeah, like, but nah, if you connected to the artist and you part of their brand, then no, you know, that's just part of the whole business, because not everything about a nigga who might come from a criminal background has to be criminal.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Your boy, thank God I'm young, says culture vultures. uh,
Shit, yo.
so
Shout out, hold on real quick, yo, because a lot of
yeah,
my
go ahead, go
people's
ahead.
in here have been watching for a minute, but I ain't want to
Yeah.
really stop the whole show to
Nah, yeah,
shout
shout him
out
out, shout him
right
out,
now.
shout him out. Go ahead.
Yo, shout out everybody who pulled up. My nephew was in here, my nigga GP, my nigga Certified, my nigga Mark, you already know. Shout out all my guys, Shavar, Shiv, my guys, you already know. Wash was in here, word. My man Pray from New York was in the building, you already know. Family.
That's what's up. Shout out to them.
Everybody,
Shout
you
out to
know,
them.
my fault. Thank you for that, bro.
Nah,
Appreciate you.
no, no, not at all. Not at
Neon, I see
all.
you, Neon. What's good, Neon? Already.
What's good, what's good, what's good, Neon. Yo, appreciate all y'all for hopping on and tuning into the conversation. Let's love, for real, for real.
All right.
Um, And if y'all have any questions or comments, please keep them coming. Don't be shy. Just whatever y'all got on your minds, just share them with us. Because, Dre and myself are going to share them out and we're going to talk about them. It's interesting you bring all that up, Dre. And the reason why I say that is because you're making me realize that I can be judgmental too, in a sense, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up a part of the culture outright, me being a black dude, you know what I'm saying? I love hip hop, being from Southside Jamaica, Queens, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, aside from being Haitian, right? Like, still, I still grew up within the culture itself because that was all that was around me. But now that I'm older, you know what I'm saying? My parents pushed education, they stress education, there's a balance with me. You know what I'm saying? I can get real hip hop, you know what I'm saying, if I need to, and I can be real, whatever you want to call it, whether it's corporate or intellectual in a sense or whatever, whatnot. But, I didn't grow up in the streets, though. The streets was all around me, but I didn't grow up in the streets. Yes, I grew up in a bad neighborhood, but I was fortunate enough to have both of my parents within my life. My father being a drill sergeant and like a military type dude who didn't allow me to do no type of nonsense, whatever, whatnot, right? And like, so constantly, time and time again, over my adult years, I'll look at like, I'll scroll down social media or look at Google, and I'm like, damn, like all these niggas stay getting locked up, man. I'm like, yo, like you either gonna rap or you gonna be in the streets. You gotta pick one, right?
But hold on that point, because I used to think about that shit a lot too, right? But it's like, if you think about the amount of time it really takes to put in and start getting noticed, right? And think about the system and how that works. These dudes be having cases pending for like years. And so they come out, they get hot, you find out about them. So for a whole summer, they shit is popping. They doing shows, going to all the festivals, wearing 1,000 chains, right? Right, they the littest motherfucker out. You know what I mean? That whole time, I mean, they be fighting they shit. And so when shit hit the fan, it's just like, it seemed like they were still fucking up. And in some situations, yeah, these dudes get money and want to use that money to even further the bullshit as opposed to trying to change the situation. But in a lot of cases, these dudes just be starting to get money, be making that first initial push, you know what I mean, really to try to change their image and show that they're a contributing member of society via the amount of money they're making. But really, because of what they're promoting through their music and because of their violent past or criminal past and the charges that they might have already been facing, it's just, situations where it looks like to the larger public that they just honestly was still out here wilding after they already had a career that was being, that was going well.
No, yeah, and I didn't get a chance to finish my thought, but it's cool though. It's all good because that's what I was at. No, you good. No, bro, don't even worry about it, man. I got too much respect for you. Relax. But what I'm saying is what I was trying to say to you was that was what I started to realize as you started talking a while back. And is it Shavar? Is that your boy named Shavar?
Yeah.
Shout out to Shavar because Shavar said it, and then you added onto it and cemented it. Shavar was like, there's too many intangibles to really say. And I was just like, wow, I never realized that. Like, that's right in my face. How am I going to call myself a scholar, an intellectual, and a hip hop head, and me not even realize that there's so many intangibles that does pertain to one being in the street prior and then having all these pending and open cases, prior to the helm of them blowing up and them starting to bubble and get steam and traction in the business. So that when they do go away or it comes out in the news, in the media, that all was encompassing at one time. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like I'm now realizing that, and I'm saying that because I got to check myself. Like if I'm going to be someone who's of the culture and talk for the culture and speak for the culture, especially in the academic space of academia at Temple University, talking about hip hop, I got to know what I'm talking about, and I got to know exactly, the schematics that play into the realities that we see. So now I say that to say thank you so much because I really appreciate that. And this last segment of the day that I wanted to talk to you about, and I think it'll be really, really interesting to dive into real quick. I want to talk about BMF real quick. I want to talk about BMF, the series real quick, right? So have you watched it at all by any chance?
Yo, so I watched, did I get through the first episode? I think I might have watched the first episode, if that. Yeah, but I wasn't feeling it too much. And Nah, I haven't like made it I haven't been intentional about, picking back up on it.
Cool, cool, cool. So let me just say this real quick, right? I've seen the first three episodes. To me, I'm like, okay, another one of these stories. That's fine. But I put it to you this way: when I watched it last week, I think I binge watched the first three episodes, not by choice. My girl wanted to watch it because she's a clinical therapist and she works with the kids that I tell you about inside the detention facilities. So they have to work with her through clinical, so that way they can, do what's necessary in terms of like their therapy and as well as like their decision making and their and just like literally just going through their cognitive understanding of what they've done, so that way they can like do what's necessary to go back home and to be discharged, right? And so she was like, no, but I want to watch it because I want to see exactly like and try to and my girl black, right? But still though, she didn't grow up like that. So she's like, I want to know what goes inside the mind of a young kid who wants to be a hustler, drug dealer, or what is illustrious or illuminating about that lifestyle to make me want to go down that path. And I was like, all right, cool. I get what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to watch it though because like I'm just tired of watching these. Like, Fifth, you gave us power, cool. Okay, BMF now, cool. But like, y'all niggas ain't got no other shit for us. Like that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? So that was my perspective of it. But then as I watched it, I was like, okay. I mean, this is something I guess I should be more knowledgeable about too. Because again, as a hip hop head and a hip hop scholar, I don't really know much about this territory. So I don't know. I think for me, bro, I just want to say this to you. I just think that in 2021, it's not 1985, 1994, 1992 anymore. I just want niggas to be able to
Hold on,
showcase a variety of narratives for us.
what was that last year you said? 1990, 20? What you said just now?
I said 1990, 20. That's not what I meant to say. That's not what I
You
meant
said
to
this,
say.
nigga.
That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say 1992. Yo, you a fool, yo. But but that aside though, but like that, like I'm like, yo, niggas ain't got other shit for us. Like they can't show a variety of different narratives pertaining to us as black people other than the hustler and the drug and the street culture. Like I'm like, that's cool, but like I want us to be exposed to something else, and I also want those folks as well to, kind of view us in a different light if possible. I don't know.
Uh,
What are your thoughts on that? Before you say anything, hold on. Shavar said, being open-minded and accepting others' reality for what it is, and we can all share to raise awareness. Okay, that makes sense though. Definitely, definitely. Like if that's what a nigga grew up on, and that's his reality, that's his culture. You got to accept it to understand how did he, why is it like this, or how did he get like this? So I get that too.
yeah. I think I mean, to me, like the worst part about it all is the actual like violence and trauma that really exists underneath it all. Because
Right.
even aside from the stuff we do hear about, because it's like connected to like um popular individuals, right? There's so much going on connected to that's not even like, that's connected just like other gang shit going on that we don't hear about because it's not connected to hip-hop. And so um my fault, just
No, you straight.
looking at it from the perspective of someone who respects someone who can make anything of unfortunate circumstances and at least create a better financial situation. Because I mean, you still got rich people who got people that if they saw them in the streets would kill them. You know what I mean? Lawyers be having people wanting to kill them. Judges be having people wanting to kill them. You know what I'm saying? Doctors might mess up and have people wanting to kill them because, yo, you fucked up my surgery, some shit. Like, like it's so much. There's so many levels to criminality in this world that I think just because as black people and the culture that we've created for ourselves, right, which is hip hop, has become so popular, but it has become monetized by a different set of people. I think that's what makes it like feel like it's ultimately so wrong. But really, um the fact I think the world knows and everybody knows that Black people as a whole, as a community, as a race, as a population throughout the world are much more than whatever gangster or drill rappers portray. Now, I mean, hip hop as a genre is so much more bigger than just that. You know, right now, that's just what's popular. But like J. Cole and Kendrick are still like the biggest artists out right now. You know what I mean? These other guys are really like as popular. And you know what's funny? Like, you know, like how everybody like, yo, we outside, right?
So, yeah.
I think another thing that got that shit hitting right now is because we still on the verge of like, you know, the whole COVID shit. So some
Right.
people are like still more or less quarantining, and all they got is they live vicariously through this shit because you seeing these kids in large groups, you know what I mean, running around getting drunk and high, dancing, doing wild shit. And you know, not come on, man. Like all of these views, like
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of them is people living it, and it's just like, yo, oh word, these little niggas doing it because they know them, know about them from being affiliated with that lifestyle. But other people are just really entertained seeing them do shit that honestly they know they can't do or want to do during that time. Um, and that's just, you know, it's really just the entertainment, and that's mostly for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, when it gets really big, a lot of times, you know, a lot of the money that they get is just it's crazy because it's really just entertainment, man, honestly. And um I feel like they know, like at a certain point, if an artist, you know, is blessed enough to make it to a certain point, then they usually do find other ways to transform, you know, their hustle through different businesses and different avenues, and even start talking different. Like if you watch Drink Champs now and see a lot of these guys who go talk to Nori, back in the day, a lot of these they was wilding out the same way. But we
Wild
got
niggas. Yeah, you're right.
but we got social media and shit, so we see everything that's going on. And you know what I mean, we don't realize, and it might be a little worse in terms of the killing and all of that, you know, because
Right.
social media at least made that shit, you know, more pervasive because it's like everybody want to be seen running down on niggas and spinning blocks. But the same type of shit was happening back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And these
Hmm.
dudes who survived and made it out, they even like sit on Drink Champs together and talk about it. You know what I mean? But it's just like you see
Right.
shit like that, and it just kind of shows you like, you know, that's just kind of the way it is. And we need more ownership, but it's happening and it's evolving. And
Hmm.
I think with brothers like yourself even, and with like the execs behind shit like Revolt and all of these other black entertainment brands or whatever, that's like all of these other podcasts from former artists who are really talking positive talk with a lot of the people they have on their show. Of course it's funny times and they joke and talk they dumb shit, but they really reveal a lot of like information about, how to like grow up, change and evolve as you you go through the industry and go through all of that shit.
Oh man, yo, I'm humbled. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I had one final topic in mind, but it kind of slipped my mind as of right now. Oh, yeah, now I know exactly what I was going to say. This is the last question I have for you. I wanted to talk about, because you brought it up in terms of mental vacations, right? And just kind of like using it all as like entertainment in the sense of like you said, a lot of niggas is on lockdown because of COVID and quarantine. So, it's just a way for them to kind of escape their reality and whatnot in a sense. So I wanted to bring up hip hop voyeurism. And so when I say voyeurism, I'm talking about the fetishizing or the fantasy of observing one's reality through a lens that is not your own, right? So right now I'm talking about in particular to a lot of white kids, I'm saying, tuning into the drill music, I'm saying, the gangster music and all the beats and all the killing. And one thing I noticed, I think, because I started following the drill movement when I was working at my job over the last year and a half. And one thing I noticed was during the passing of FBG Duck. Remember when FBG Duck passed back in July 2020? Like I
Yeah.
remember I clicked because like because like my job as a rehab therapist was to do like a lot of artistic kids, do a lot of artistic things with my kids. So, you know, me being a poet and a rapper, and a producer now, you know what I'm saying? I would produce like, you know what I'm saying, albums for them, and I would have them make mixtapes and rap. I would have them do poetry one unit. I'd have them, you know what I'm saying, making podcasts another unit. Anything creative I'd be doing. And another one of my tasks or my jobs at the residential house that they lived in was that I would put music on like these cheap ass little MP3s for them so that way they could go listen to their music at night, whatever, whatnot. And one time I'm scrolling down the comments of one of FBG Duck's videos, and there's a white kid on there, and he's like, yo, they really got this dude lacking. I can't wait to see who dies next. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, these kids, like, especially these white kids who live in the burbs, who probably super protected and away from all this shit, they're really looking at this shit like as if it was like some drug mafioso crime drug slumlord movie. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's to me, I find it offensive, bro. Like, nah, niggas is really dying off of this shit, and y'all over here consuming all this stuff, man. It ain't right.
But yeah, see, like that's the internet, and like, you know, not to say there's not no crazy white person out there who won't run up to like a whole angry mob of people protesting and say some shit opposing what they're saying just to provoke them. But not most of the time on the internet, people just say shit that they wouldn't normally say to somebody directly, because what's going to really happen other than a whole bunch of people saying a bunch of negative comments back towards you, which is probably the attention that they're seeking. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times, like, I can understand people being facetious about this shit because it is ridiculous the way this shit goes down. It's like, yo, every day, I'm sure, like, I don't know, bro, but like every week or something, you finding out about somebody new, like specifically tied to like hip hop and the gang shit that's like dying. And at a certain point, it's just like, yo, god damn, like who is next? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it is offensive when, like, you know, I guess a person like a white person laughs at like something that we consider like our struggle, you know what I mean? Like particularly like, you know, the level of black gang violence that exists.
Right.
But if you just like, if it was anybody else that said it, because I'm sure if you looked at the comments, there was a black person in there. That could have been a black person with a white picture catfishing this page just to provoke motherfuckers. Like, you know, like that type of shit I try not to read into so much. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
I think they both do it though. I think both races do it though, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah. So, you know, that shit is just a whole nother conversation. Like if we want to
Yeah, it
talk
is.
about all of that shit, man.
Nah, yeah, man. Man, well, bro, man, yo, real talk, bro. I really, really, really appreciate you because this has been something that's been on my mind for a while, and you know, I could talk about it with any other person that you know in my network that I thought would be worthy enough of having this conversation. But I wanted to talk to a nigga who, you know, what I'm saying, is connected. You know, what I'm saying, to his people in the community, and also is a brother. You know, what I'm saying, who's also, you know, just trying his best to better himself and think deeper about the ills of society that plague us as a whole, man. So I say all this to say, bro, I really, really appreciate you. And I know you might not think this, bro, but I'm sure I've told you this on plenty of occasions. You are one of the most insightful scholars that I know, bro. And you probably don't even consider yourself a scholar, but I see you as a fucking scholar, my G. Real talk.
Yeah, appreciate that, Kev. Thank you, man. Nah, I definitely consider myself a scholar, man. I'm scholarly.
Yeah.
But likewise, bro. Like you already know, man. You're one of the smartest dudes I know. It was a pleasure, you know what I mean, having this conversation with you today. At any other time you want to chop it up on the live or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just make the time. Sorry that it was so hard for us to coordinate this time, but that shit don't matter, bro. And
That's a
keep up the
fact.
good work with the wise guys and all that. And I hope to see y'all do bigger things, man.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. So before I let you go, anything you want to plug in or anything you currently got coming out? Because, bro, I've seen you've been working out here, man, from like a lot of, you know, video stills and things like that. I'm like, yo, I don't know what Dre is doing, but he's working, man. He's putting together some flicks.
Yeah, I mean, I got a music video out right now, a new one called Collect, off of my up
Okay.
on my YouTube page. I think the link is on my IG bio still. It should be the
Okay.
link that's up there.
I'm gonna check it.
I got a lot of things I'm working on for next year. You know, what I mean, I'm cooking it up
Okay.
right now. I want to make sure I come correct. I'm trying to decide if between now and the end of this year if I want to put anything else out. But I got a few things in the stash that I'm holding on to, so next year I could drop correct because it's gonna be time to collect. But for now, I'm gonna just let that one sit out there and bubble. You know what I mean, and
Okay.
see who catch on until I really start going
I
hard
love
with
it.
it. Then I'm gonna gain some real traction and go hard on their ass.
I love it, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it. We still got to connect on a personal tip whenever I'm back in New York. You know what I'm saying? Personal, face-to-face level. But we'll make that work. You know what I'm saying? Whenever our busy schedules can kind of coincide. Um, but yeah, like I said, Wise community. You know, Dre is someone who's been a big supporter of the Wise guys for a long, long minute now. You know what I'm saying? Both myself and Mark. And you know, he's just again, like I said, like he's a fellow Brooklyn College alumni. Y'all see the banner right there, and you know what I'm saying? And just a really, really good dude, solid brother, A1. So with that being said, please be sure to follow him online. Plug in your IG again, if anything.
My IG?
Yes, sir.
Oh my shit. What is my IG? Hoffa Billz, man.
Hoffa Billz, Hoffa Billz. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Underscore Hoffa Billz, man. I'm gonna type it in the comments, man.
All right. Underscore Hoffa Billz. Yes, please do. I'm going to copy and paste it on the description of the episode when I convert it to an audio formatted podcast. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Wise Guys podcast can be found on a plethora of platforms. All right. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Anchor, you name it, and we're there, the Wise Guys. Dre is the last official Instagram Live guest that we have for this season of the Wise Guys, as we do have one more guest left to go, but he is the last IG Live audio video formatted guest, so I guess we saved the best for last. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know how to find us. Hey, you know how to reach us. Strong, 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 man. All right, so please be sure to tune in and tap into us with the Wise Guys. You know we're here, and this is what we do. So as I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's the man, Kevin Anglad, and we have been joined by our very special guest.
It's your boy Hoffa Billz, baby.
It's the man, Hoffa Billz, my boy Dre, all right? And we are the Wise Guys podcast. As I always say, we'll see you all next week. And if Mark was here, he'd say, stay wise.
Stay wise. Yeah, Mark. Took that part from high.
And cut. I will leave this right here on the audio version too. My brother, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you, for real.
Peace.
Bless, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, brother.
All right, bro.